You're still watching Smart 24, and my name is Anthony, and this is Financial Markets. Now, before we go into our top stories, the cryptocurrency market has been quite volatile, and quite many people have been, inquisitive to know what's happening next for the cryptocurrency. And we're going to be seeing that in other top stories. But I would just like to remind you of some of the listings on the Security Exchange of Uganda. Now, the Uganda Securities Exchange not only lists the equities, but also the other fixed income securities, such as the treasury bonds and bills. And I would just like to spot out a few of some of these that have not matured yet and are still increasing in terms of opportunity and with a very high interest rate. Now, when you go and see some of these on the Uganda Securities Exchange website, we have a government bond under the number 1079, that is UG 0001079. That bond that was issued in 2012 is worth 145 billion, and it has an 11% return, and of course expires on the 9th of June, actually the 6th of September 2022. That is when it expires. Then we also have another one at 17%. This one has almost expired. And then we have another bond at 19.5% in 2025. And the government bond number is 18122252. And this bond is worth 120 billion Ugandan shillings. It was issued in 2015 on the 18th of December, and it has a rate or a coupon rate of 19.5%. And this bond is going to expire in 2025 or mature in 2025 on the 18th of December. And definitely you can access this bond at only 100,000 shillings. You don't have to have all the money figured out for you or have the 120 billion on you. You can start with as low as 100,000 to purchase yourself a bond or a treasury bond from the government of Uganda and return an interest of 19.5. Now, this interest, the way it's calculated, every after 6 months, there is always an interest that is added onto your amount that will be returned to you. So if at all the bond, for example, matures in 2025, you buy it today, after 6 months from today, that's when the first interest of 19.5 will come in. Then another 6 months, you will have another interest. And then after another 6 months, another interest, like that. That's how it works. And the more patient you are while investing in some of these securities, the more the return. These are very safe investments where we don't have to worry about, defaulting, because government is never a defaulter, at least for the most part. And therefore, definitely you can be able to make sure that your money is making a little bit of money for you, but also secure and safe, especially in the economy right now that is quite unpredictable and with many uncertainties that are surrounding the economy at the moment. That was just one of the things I wanted to point out before our headlines, but also, and a reminder to the National Insurance Company or Corporation shareholders that the company has approved a bonus issue for all the shareholders, and issuing 707,889,859 additional ordinary shares by way of a bonus issue, which was approved by the shareholders during the company's annual general meeting on the 24th of June 2021, and has been approved by the Capital Markets Authority to be issued then for the company there. So if you're a shareholder there, you should anticipate your bonus share there of issuance for your bonds, I mean for your shares, and getting to know how you can access those extra shares. You can visit their website at National Insurance Corporation.com. Now, Let's move into our top stories here on the program today. The first story, of course, is about Bank of Uganda, saying that the people with unclaimed money in World Remit should write to Bank of Uganda. Bank of Uganda has advised that general public who have their money that has been sent to them through the World Remit Money Transfer Uganda Limited and have not received it to send their claim with evidence to the central bank office. Pursuant to Regulation 19.3 of the Foreign Exchange, that is Forex Bureaus and Money Remittance Regulations 2006, the Bank of Uganda informs the public that World Remit Money Transfer Uganda Limited voluntarily ceased to carry on money remittance business, according to a press statement issued on Monday. Now, customers with outstanding claims for monies given to the World Remit for remittance purposes should submit the claims with evidence to the Office of the Director Non-Banking Financial Institutions for the Department of Bank of Uganda by July 18th, 2022, about 2 weeks from now. That is according to a statement that was issued by Bank of Uganda. Now, Bank of Uganda assures the public that it will continue to safeguard the stability of the financial sector. However, the World Remit as a company, has special arrangements with the financial institutions to conduct money transfer services in collaboration with them. The public is notified that the closure of World Remit Money Transfer Limited as a company will not affect World Remit Money remittance products offered by several supervised financial institutions in Uganda. That is, of course, one of our headline stories there after the closure of World Remit, which is a remittance service offering firm that, of course, now says Bank of Uganda that the money that was, being handled by this institution is safe and sound, and individuals who would want to access that money should write to the Bank of Uganda with proof. Definitely, they will be able to get you that money right on time. Now, moving on to the Egypt's Suez Canal revenue has hit a $7 billion record peak. This is according to Cairo Reuters. The Egypt's Suez Canal revenue has hit a record high $7 billion in the financial year ended June 30th, up to a 20.7% more, from the previous year. Now, Canal Authority Chairman Osama Rabi said on Sunday in a statement from the authority, attributed this rise to an increase in vessel numbers and cargoes, with the total cargoes reaching a record high of about 1.32 million tons, of up to 10.9%, from up to 10.9%, that is in 2020-2021. The number of vessels transiting the canal rose 15.7% to 22,032, and the canal now is the fastest shipping route between Europe and Asia, and one of the Egyptian government's main sources of foreign currency there. And in the 2015 expansion of the canal led to a limited rise in revenue, and further expansion is due to be completed by the end of the year 2023. Now, looking at the second expansion, which was announced after the Ever Given cargo ship was grounded in the canal for 6 days in March last year, disrupting the global trade. That is now a story there from Egypt, as the Suez Canal now is reopened and makes $7 billion US dollars worth of profits. If you can remember, definitely it has had several, problems with wars in Palestine and neighboring Israel that almost threatened its presence, but now returning with a whooping profit of about $7 billion US dollars there. That is the Suez Canal of Egypt. Moving to another story here on the program, Mark Zuckerberg, who is the owner of Facebook, has issued dire economic warning to Meta employees. Now, Zuckerberg's chilling message Meta Platforms Incorporation employees says the company faces one of the worst downturns that they have ever seen in the recent history that will necessitate a scaling back in hires and resources. That's according to a source there from, Facebook. And of course, this is a company subsidiary of Facebook and has had several challenges. The dire economic warning was delivered during an internal video conference meeting on Thursday for Meta's Meta, that is 0.76%, about 77,800 workers, according to the New York Times. Now, to underscore the ominous message, Zuckerberg told employees that they should expect to do more with fewer resources, that their performance would be more aggressively graded. He says, and we quote, "I think some of you might decide that this place isn't for you and that self-selection is okay with me," according to Zuckerberg on a call, according to the Times. Realistically, there are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be there. Buttressing Zuckerberg's comments, Meta Chief Product Officer Chris Cox said in a separate memo that Meta faces serious times and economic headwinds are fierce. The most obvious manifestation will be fewer hires, and Facebook's parent company now intends to add 6,000 to 7,000 engineers this year, down from an initial goal of 10,000, and the Times reported. A former Facebook employee confirmed to MarketWatch that the Silicon Valley company has significantly reduced its hiring plans in the recent months. Meta's advertising business has been badly battered by a change in privacy settings to Apple Incorporation and mobile operating system, limiting the amount of user data that can be collected by Facebook and Instagram. Consequently, Meta has posted 2 straight quarterly profit declines for the first time in a decade. Meta lost about 230 billion US dollars in market value. Its worst one-day hit ever, after it posted desultory results in February. At the same time, Meta is pursuing a risky strategic pivot to the immense world of metaverse, which prompted the company's name change last year. Meta is one of the several tech companies facing choppy economic waters as it navigates through inflation, a war in Ukraine, and supply chain disruptions. In recent days, Tesla company, Unity Software, Coinbase Global, and Redfin Corporation have announced deep job cuts as well. That is another story there from the United States of America, as company subsidiary of the parent of Facebook, Meta, is looking at losing some of its employees, definitely due to several problems that they're having financially and as well as technically. So they are looking to fire more employees, and definitely this has been spreading over several other companies as well on the New York Stock Exchange, as companies perform much poorer and poorer all by the day as the day goes by. But we'll be seeing as well what Facebook has when it comes to the stock market there in the United States of America, knowing that Facebook is one of the largest tech companies that are listed, despite having Google and then Apple and other software companies. Those are some of the big people when it comes to the stock exchange in the New York Stock Exchange and the other stock exchanges in the United States of America. And definitely we'll be watching what Meta does in terms of reducing employment and also cutting jobs and making sure that the company remains profitable despite the beleaguered economy that is facing the United States there. Now moving on to another story here, the US futures, that is the stocks that including the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 have fallen, and the dollar extends gains as we wrap up the market. Now, according to Bloomberg Markets, the United States index futures and the European equities erased their gains as sentiments boosted by tariff gains between United States and China fizzled. The dollar extended its advance, and as as per some of the speculations of some people holding the dollar. Now, contracts on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 dropped at least 0.2%, each as U.S. markets were set to return after Independence Day holiday. Europe's stock exchange 600 fell, dragged by commodity stocks and, of course, several other pressures. The treasuries caught up with Monday's global bond sell-off, with the 2-year rate jumping 6 basis points. United States and China officials discussed economic sanctions and tariffs amid reports Washington may roll back some of the trade levies imposed by former President Donald Trump. While that came as a relief for markets, investors continued to fret over the possibility of a United States recession, coupled with monetary tightening to combat elevated inflations. Markets are likely to react positively on a knee jerk because at this point we are hungry for any signs of positive news. According to Mr. Charu Chanana, who is the senior market strategist at Saxo Capital Markets. He says, however, but they don't see the move impacting the global growth and inflation dynamics in such a significant way. United States markets reopen Tuesday after caping 11 declines in the past 13 weeks as a first quarter contraction in the world's largest economy boosted the prospects of a recession. At the same time, consumer prices are far from peaking, with inflation surging to 8.6% in May. That left little room for the Federal Reserve to slow monetary tightening. Short-end rates led a sell-off in treasuries on Tuesday, with the 2-year yield jumping to 2.9%, and the dollar erased losses and traded 0.4% higher. The euro tumbled 0.7% as well. And in Australia, the central bank rose key interest rate as expected to 1.35%. It's among more than 80 central banks to have raised their rates this year, including Uganda Central Bank, which increased this rate from 6.5 to 7.5%. The nation's dollar also weakened, and definitely Brent crude hovered around $113 per barrel, and the Bitcoin retook the 20,000 level, 20,000 US level again. Bitcoin, of course, versus Ether, that is Ethereum, stable coins versus the central bank digital currencies, and NFTs as well. are some of the things we can watch out for. But that is news coming in from the stocks there in the United States, not so good as well. Talking about inflation, definitely the entire world is grappling with a rise in commodity prices with a number of factors that have been blamed, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukrainian war, and other things that have led to supply chain disruptions on the market. But as well, the move by central banks around the world to go into the digital central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs, has been accelerated as many see it as an option that will maybe be able to curtail some of the effects of inflation. But of course, enthusiasts of cryptocurrency as well are still looking at the coins, and definitely I'm also going to just check out a little bit of some of these coins and how they played on the market recently. Remember, the Bitcoin has been suffering losses since about 2 weeks ago, when it lost from 30,000, over 30,000, to about 25,000, to as low as now almost below 20,000 US dollars. And definitely very many losses were incurred by investors even here in Africa, and people who have invested in crypto will tell you that they made huge amounts of losses over the past 3 months that they have never made in their entire investment life. So definitely we are going to track these coins and see how they play out, because they do influence how the markets work as well, as they give us alternative means of transaction by using decentralized currencies around the world. Being able to be one of the people that use these coins or cryptocurrencies is actually something that many countries are looking into. And El Salvador, which is a country that decided to have, the first country to have Bitcoin as legal tender, these are countries that made some really, really, really bold moves on the market. Now, looking at the Bitcoin right now, it stands still below the 20,000 US dollar mark at 19,822.78 US dollars. That's a 3.59% 24-hour appreciation. Then, of course, Ethereum at 136.58 went up by 8.17%. Then Binance Coin, that is, went up by about, BNB went up by about 1.7% to 222.97. XRP, unfortunately, was one of the losers, losing by about 0.25% to 0.32 US dollars there on the market. Solana was also in green at 5.49% appreciation to 34.77 US dollars as well. Those are some of the crypto coins that had some gains as per the last 24 hours. But of course, a very volatile market there in cryptocurrency, which you don't seem to know when it's stabilizing, when it's going up, or when it's going down. Anything can happen anytime, anywhere. So that was your top updates, giving us some of the stories. You can go to our website at www.smart24tv.com for more of those headlines and getting to know exactly what you need to know when it comes to business and financial markets. For the latest stories, you can visit us, and we will be giving you all that information and more. We are about 5 minutes away from the top of the hour, and we're going into a short break. We'll return shortly.